your astrologer, back with the astro lesson for January 20th of 2025, which is Martin Luther King Day, which is Inauguration Day, and which is going to be quite eventful based on how the energy starts off first thing in the morning. Of course, we're going to break it all down this week. And if you're new to my channel, take a moment now and click on that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I post this new content, which is typically every weekend. And if you go out to my website, MarileeBurnett.com, there you can also sign up to receive all of my written content. So I do 3 articles a month, a new moon, a full moon, and then, of course, the monthly horoscope predictions. They're out there already for February. And I am almost ready for March, which is eclipse season. And it's going to be wild. So you might want to consider clicking on my special offers. I have a great 2025 2-hour session where we go through a workbook that I've created that you can keep that will give you a record of all the important dates and give you a lesson, right, about all of the movement and change that's happening in your life in 2025, especially with a close look at your personal planets. And if you can't do that, then you definitely want to book at least one of my new moon solar eclipse readings so you can get ready to remove the blocks that are keeping you from your full potential, which is really what the eclipses help us do. And like I said, those are coming up in March, and we have also a Venus and Mercury retrograde that are both very important in the eclipse work that we're about to do. All tied into a lot of 2024 work too. So like I said, lots that you want to be prepared for. So stay tuned here, click subscribe and follow along. Now, with that, we are going to start the breakdown here, of course, with the AstroGold software on Monday, January 20th, 2025. And I have this starting with this important activity here with Mercury. So Mercury is sitting in the sign of Capricorn. And as it does, it is forming a T-square. So Mercury is the mind, it's communication, it's transportation. Mercury rules over young people, right? Like children, youth, and it is squaring with Chiron in Aries, which is a lot about our wounds to our self-confidence, and squaring to the moon in Libra. So this is asking for fairness, for justice, right? Asking that we have balance in our relationships. So there's something about someone's individual needs, the government's needs, society's needs, justice's needs. I mean, there is some kind of an argument going on Monday morning that is a part of this whole inauguration. So it should be quite spectacular. Let's leave it at that. So in your own life too, right? You're going to feel this pressure. There can be harsh words, right? Because Saturn rules Capricorn where Mercury is sitting. And so that can make this conversation very harsh in some manner. So again, you want to take a look at what house this is happening in your chart and know to feel a bit of extra pressure there, especially as we kick off the week. Now, for some, it's a holiday, right? Especially if you work for the government. And for others, we are attending events where we're honoring Martin Luther King and his work, right? Which is a little bit in conflict with some of current society's focus. So it, again, can be a really spectacular day, and there may be some kind of protests that go on this day as a result of all of the activity that is going on with the government. So much more to see there. We also see here, and we'll have this for the next couple of days, that the Sun and Pluto are starting to combine. Now, this is normal. We have it every year, but this is new as far as the Aquarian energy goes. So now we are seeing the sun, our success, our ego self, with Pluto, power that comes from hidden places, psychological power. But definitely there's themes of power, power to the people, right? This is Aquarius energy, groups, service groups. So there's something important that we're meant to see the sun shining a light on the underworld, right? As it works with this Pluto energy to maybe face down some fears. So we'll get that for these first couple of days next week as well. Now, as we move to Tuesday, this gets a little bit more intense. So, I'm driving too fast here, people. On Tuesday, as I mentioned, we still have Pluto and the sun together, which is powerful, right? It can be a little explosive. It can expose some things. And then it squares the moon. So now we're talking about emotional turmoil. We're also talking about transformation, death, rebirth. We're seeing the moon in Scorpio, which is, of course, ruled by Pluto. And the moon's not strong here. So emotionally, things might feel a little dark and intense. So you need to make sure you're seeking out the light in your happy places. This is not the time to, overindulge, to self-indulge, right, in things that are not healthy for you. But this is a tense, again, morning on Tuesday, January 21st, because of this conflicting energy here, right? And when you think about the sun being your ego self and the moon being your emotional self, right, they're your needs. And when you think about Pluto and the sun, those are your baser needs, right? There's something at conflict here that is very uncomfortable. And anytime you have Pluto work, it's already intense and uncomfortable. But there's something going on beneath the surface that may be getting exposed at this time, which is causing a lot of tension. Now, of course, the moon moves fairly quickly. It will be in Scorpio for the next 2.5 days, but there's something about the intensity in the morning's energy that, we will notice. And a square means something has to change, right? In Scorpio, power changes, transformative changes, emotional changes, right? With Aquarius and we, the people, innovation, connectivity, right? Something is difficult. Is this the TikTok story? Maybe, right? So we'll certainly find out here very quickly what all this turns out to be. So again, the first 2 days already of this next week are very intense. Okay, next, we'll move on to Wednesday. And on Wednesday, there's some surprising energy here that might help motivate you to deal with whatever the conflict and drama was. Because now, over the next couple of days, as Mercury's moving forward, it's going to be opposing Mars, right? So there's still conflict. There's definitely still conflict. And somehow the way out of the conflict is this Uranus energy in the sign of Taurus. So an innovative solution, a financial solution, it's surprising, whatever it is. And keep in mind, Uranus is still retrograde. It will be until the end of this month. So it's slowing down too. So this is something based on the past. Both Uranus and Mars are speaking in harmony to one another. So it can create really quick, fast changes, unexpected changes. And of course, Mars in Cancer is not happy there. It is overly emotional, right? We may be overly emotional in our responses, but we also may be innovative, right? When we think about Uranus and its connection to Mercury, which is the mind, which is communication with ideas, transportation, writing, community, right? So there's the potential for a solution that's innovative to whatever this conflict has been about as we kick off the week. So look for some surprises on Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, that intensity just builds. So now we've got Mercury, who is exactly opposite Mars. And Mercury's no match for Mars, right? Mars is the major, right, who leads the troops, and Mercury's the troops, right? And they are not standing up against Mars in any effective way, except for the fact that, Mercury in Capricorn might have some big government energy behind it. And Mars in Cancer is, home and family. So there's some kind of conflict between the government and the people. And there is somebody else, this Uranus character, that is trying to bring peace to the conflict. So we'll see which of the many conflicts that are going on in the world right now this one will show up as, but it seems like it's definitely going to have our attention for most of the week. One other thing that I want to show here, even though you can't see it very clearly, is, you get this shape of what looks almost like an envelope. And so again, I just really feel like Mercury, there's some information that's coming in, and it's what we do with the information that is going to help resolve this conflict. The moon, like I said, will still be in Scorpio. Mercury and the moon will be speaking in harmony. Mercury and Uranus will speak in harmony. Uranus and Mars will speak in harmony. It's the conflict, the solid line of conflict that even the moon adds to, because as it moves later into Scorpio, it's going to also oppose Uranus. So you can see this, right? It is intense, and yet it's what we do with the tension, with the conflict, that can move us forward in really big ways. So don't be too afraid of whatever the conflict is. Know that there is a way out. And in your own life, same, right? Whatever the conflict is, listen to your intuition, trust advisors, right? If you think about Mercury in Capricorn, that's somebody that can give you advice. Be innovative. Be careful with your money. Don't make emotional purchases around this time. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be intense. So I'm here if you need me. Walk us all the way through it. But again, each day seems like the tension just builds upon itself. So we get a little bit of a reprieve on Friday because this tension starts to break down. Mercury starts to move on, right? So it's still opposing Mars, but it's not directly intensely fighting, but it's still there, still lingering. The moon in Sagittarius now is helping us move forward quickly. This is very knowledgeable information that can help us move forward, like Sagittarius and the arrow, right? It's pointing forward. There can be an international help, right, to this energy. And then, of course, still Uranus is still helping us be innovative, right, with whatever our solutions are at this time. So then we're going to move on and see that Venus is in the sign of Pisces, of course. And now this is an additional helper, right? So Mercury's still moving on, still connected with Uranus, but loosening up its connection. So in its place now we have Venus. Venus is love and beauty and harmony. And it is, again, speaking in harmony with Mars. And Mars, of course, is Venus's lover, right? So there's something about love and connection and passion that might surprise us. Maybe we hear an announcement of a surprise couple or a change in a couple's relationship that's unexpected. Although I would expect it to be positive because of the fact that these are all blue energies, trines and sextiles, that are helping us in some way. Even with the moon in Sagittarius squaring to Venus, but trying to Chiron, like there's something we're trying to heal. So that's what we are focused on Saturday. And then, this week's moving fast. On Sunday, we will see that we have Mercury now speaking in harmony with Neptune. That is also speaking very closely with the North Node. So this is the first experience, right? From Mercury's perspective, this personal planet, and then as Venus is getting closer here to the North Node as well, where we're starting to understand the purpose and the work that is needed now that the North Node has moved into the sign of Pisces. So it's spending a lot of time speaking to Neptune, right? Which is the ruler. It's almost like, okay, advisor, what do you want me to do when you're moving on into the sign of Aries in your absence? What lessons do you want me to work on with the people? And isn't it funny how I make up stories for the planets? But I think it makes sense. And then Mercury too, information that's faded, that conversations that are faded, right? And as Mercury connects to the South Node, Virgo, which it rules, right? So there's some strength from the past, some strength from the knowledge you have from your past that is very helpful in this quest for peace, maybe, that is coming up on Sunday. And then you'll see, right, that with Venus and Mars and Uranus all working together. Again, there's potential for things to start to calm down. A lot less conflict. We'll always have what looks like conflict between the North Node and the South Node, but that's really just balancing the past with the future, right? Leveraging what we've learned in the past to help us in our future. That's the perfect balance. That's what oppositions are supposed to do for us. When we don't learn the lesson and we just lean in, then the conflict is very uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be. We're supposed to learn from balance. All right. So that is a rather fast moving, high intensity week. And everybody I know keeps going, when's it going to stop? Not anytime soon. We have a lot of work to do still. As we talk about that, let's just briefly highlight next week. So in this next week on the 29th, we will see the moon, Mercury, and Pluto all talking. This can be a very intense day, on the 28th. And then as we move to the 29th, it's going to be the new moon in Aquarius. And this new moon in Aquarius is speaking in harmony with Jupiter, so it's expanding it. And Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is stationing to go direct the next day. So we have, like I said, through all the conflict of this upcoming week, what results is this new beginning that's Aquarian in nature, we the people. Something ruling the internet and uniting and connecting us. So will there be a solution to TikTok? And is this what the solution ends up being? We shall see, won't we? So make sure you come back. Make sure you favorite, like, and comment. And definitely go watch the tarot cards for your sun, moon, and rising for this upcoming week as well. Because together they should really give you an idea of how the week ahead will go for you. And of course, the more you tune in, the more you watch, the more connected you'll get to this energy, because I'll get more connected to your energy. Same thing when you make comments and likes. all that does is help me tune into you so that the messages become more specific to you as well. And then thank you for liking, commenting, sharing my work. I really appreciate you. All right, that's it. I moved us through quick this week because that's how the energy felt. So get ready, get your tennis shoes on, and let's see what the week ahead has in store for us. And I will talk with you all again next week. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.